What's going on, you GBA type people? ItzSawk here with another week for the Pickem crew for the GBA Season 9 rebooted. This is week 2, and sadly, I am alone this week. Austin and my schedules did not coincide this week. We couldn't get a recording in. It is my fault for that one, so hashtag blame Sock in the comments with your picks for this week. So, going over week 1, it kind of didn't go so well for some of us, like me. I was the crazy guy, locked the New York Apollyon in a week 1 game. I know it's crazy. However, some of the flinches did not really help Goldoa. The game was still kind of won by Jolt, but if you watch the game down, Crobat getting flinched was not good for it because it would have killed a Scolipede on that hit. However, I digress. Houston Team Rockets winning over the Pittsburgh Piratas, I believe is Pittsburgh Piratas. Nothing really crazy there. The Miami Don fans losing to Victorian Shadows, nothing surprising there. The fan Discord ended up getting that one wrong. However, sort of Zilix, Melon, and Austin. And then the big hit of the week, the San Diego Chim Chargers losing to the Montreal Habsels. Now, last week I did state Mega Monwell could do some work in this game. And what did it do? Picked up 4 gosh dang kills. So I did call that. I almost picked Montreal. However, I just couldn't pick against MB in a week 1 game. However, now that I've seen Astra do work with it, I think we're going to see a little bit more Astra picking. And that the Tennessee Trubbish losing to the Melbourne Rotoms, kind of a surprise by me. However, Shiny Sableye did get his lock right there, so good for him. The Borussia Don fan taking home the game against the LA Needle Kings Danza was kind of a surprise to most of us. That was Aaron's lock, so he was able to not get that and start off 0-1. He and I are the only ones to not get our locks right for the first week, but hopefully we can change that. The Durham Druddigons won against the Pittsburgh Pichus, no surprises there. And then the San Jose Sharpedos took home the win against the New York Noirbats. And that was Austin's and Strumpfel's lock, along with Zilix locking Durham. But yeah, overall, week 1, that would be Shiny Sableye. Ben is your Pick'em's leader right now, with Melon and Aaron coming up close behind. So with that, let's jump right into week 2. So, your games for this week. Starting off, we do have the Miami Don fans versus the New York Apollyon, which is Kyle A versus TTM Goldoa Dragon. So Kyle, hashtag never lost kind of broke off early. You also love seeing Scarf Lele stare you down. Excadrill and Klefki have to come to this game because Zygarde is awesome until you realize Goldoa has a Vaporeon. And a Ditto. My biggest thing on Kyle's side is how does he get not Volt turned around from Zapdos, Victini, Crobat, and Mega B? His team does not like many of these monsters. The only ones that can take them all on is speed boosting Blaziken. That is hoping it doesn't get OHKO'd by a Victini. So now, Goldoa. Week 1 has gone past, and let's leave that behind us. However, Victini, along with something like Scarf Lele and Mega B, put a lot of pressure on Kyle's iffy walls and Klefki and Mega Blastoise. The only way you see it, like a Celebi on the other side of the field, is if it's Scarf. Tangaberry isn't coming because Mega Beedrill kills through it. Your offensive presence in this game is awesome too. You put a lot of pressure on his team, and because if you can grab a speed boosted Blaziken, you can start wrecking house more than a generic show from TLC. Like, you start running through this man's team if you catch that speed boost Blaziken with your Ditto. So it's hard to pick against the Ditto in this week, and I am crazy enough. I'm going to pick Goldoa for week 2. Austin is going to continue with the hashtag never lost and pick Miami Don fans, and everyone else, including you guys at the fan Discord, are taking the New York Apollyon. In fact, this is your guys' lock for the week. Now, next up here, we do have the San Diego Chim Chargers versus the Pittsburgh Piratas, which is Lord Envy versus Old Man Top, and this is my game of the week, personally. There's a lot of things that can go around this week, even though it does seem like very one-sided, but most of the games look one-sided this week. Now, Envy, your bulk on this team is going to be really tested this week by Top's offense. Zeraora, Skyman, Battlebond Greninja, Z Latias, and even Entei, along with something like Scarf Togaflinch, are all things you need to be very careful of. Bronzong along with Ho-Oh might be your answers as defensive Ho does impact this game pretty heavily. However, Tup, you can win this game. Skyman along with Zera can win this for you. Not to mention that Mylonic is fantastic, and you do need to keep Skyman around and healthy. You need to scout for MV Scarfers, and also Alolan is annoying as hell. However, it's hard to pick against the two-time reigning runner-up. Like, MV's very, very good at this game in Pokemon, and he'll find a way to bring some set that'll help stop a certain mon. It'll open a door, and then he'll pounce on it. So we'll have to see. I'm going to pick MV. However, I could see Tup winning this game. It would not surprise me. Now watch Tup get 6-0 because Pickem's curse. Alright, next up here we do have the Durham Druddigons versus the Tennessee Trubbish, which is 6-foot trash versus Deathly I Am. Now, alright, start the Marshadow counter. Marshadow does a ton of work as it completely disregards any of Deathly's strategy. Marshadow clicks 4 buttons: Drain Punch, Shadow Punch, Earthquake, and Poison Jam. Z-Garchomp does quite a number in this game as well because it can ensure that Magnezone can't Volt Switch around on your team, along with being a really nice check to Mega Aggron along with Marshadow. Now, Deathly. Kyurem White is a fantastic Pokemon, but it has to carry you to this win. Marshadow puts so much pressure on your team, and you don't really have a whole lot of bulk outside of Tapu Fini and Mega Aggron that Marshadow can just break through your entire team. It's hard to pick against the best mon in this format, personally, and Z-Garchomp is amazing. I'm going to have to go with Leo in this game. In fact, this is Melon's Shiny Sableye and Zelix's lock. So, yeah, that is that game. Next up here, we do have the Borussia Donphans versus the New York Noibats, which is El Scizor versus Mewtwo Fan Nate. Now, Lars, let me give you an exact rundown of how this game is going to go. Lars brings in Scarf Kyurem Black, clicks buttons for a little bit, swaps in a Tangrowth or Mandibuzz, doubles back into Kyurem Black, and starts clicking buttons again. That's how bad the New York Noibats get beaten down by this entire team. Like, Scarf Kyurem is about to give Nate some serious nightmares, dude. Like, you have to pray he doesn't have Hidden Power Grass, otherwise your entire defensive core gets messed up by him because of Seismitoad. Now, Mewtwo is decent in this game, but you better have Thunderbolt on it for Mandibuzz. You have a very tough game this week. Show me you can win here and I'll start picking you more. However, I can't pick against Lars in this one because Scarf Kyurem Black, along with like a Z Jirachi and like Tangrowth and Mandibuzz, put in a lot of defensive work here. So it's hard to pick against the team that's really, really on this game. Next up here, we have the Kansas City Jirachis versus the Houston Team Rockets, which is TTM Jolt versus Randy HLD. Now, Jolt. Groudon plus Magearna gives Randy more trouble than picking Chikorita and Johto. Like, Magearna comes on in, says, "Hey, how are the kids? How's the wife?" then proceeds to beat you down. The only thing stopping Shift Gear Magearna from winning right away is Metagross, and Groudon jumps in and says, "Hi, how are you today?" The biggest threat coming to you is to make sure Sand doesn't ruin you. Lycanroc Sun may not look powerful on paper, but we all know how that goes. Now, Randy. Randy. Jolteon plus Infernape can do some fun work, but beware that Mega Aerodactyl along with Goodra is really annoying to that combo. Porygon 2 is really nice and can probably sponge a hit or two from Magearna, but you aren't really going to be doing anything back. If you want to win, you gotta find a way to stop Magearna. However, Magearna's 3 strong 5 me. I'm going with Jolt. And everyone but Stromful and Aaron is agreeing with me there. Now, next up here, we do have the Melbourne Rotos versus the Montreal Absols, which is Aaron Cybertron Zhang versus Aster J. Now, Aaron, you won last week. Good job. But that was the quote-unquote, at the time, worst player in the league, according to the Pickem guys and the Power Ranking guys. Be sure to go check out the Power Rankings if you guys haven't already, by the way. They're a bunch of cool people. You guys should definitely go check them out. Now, Rayquaza does a fair amount of work here, along with Megalop. However, you need to get rid of Tornadus Theory and Rotom Wash. Like, both are bulky enough to sponge a hit or two and come right back at you with something you don't want, whether it's like a Hurricane, a Thunder Wave, a Will-O-Wisp, something that you really don't want to see. Prove to me that you've grown this season by putting up a W on one of my personal favorites to make playoffs from the early season. Now, Aster, 3 words. I called it! I legit said that Mega Mawile goes in, and what did it proceed to do? Pick up 4 goddamn kills. In this matchup, it can do well. It can do well. He does have a check or two in Aegislash, Wobbuffet, and Pex. However, his two of them are set up bait anyway. The Cosmic Dongwings also pressures him a lot, as Ghost and Psychic type are not appreciated against this team. So look for the Crowsman and Mega Mawile to do some work this week. Mega Mawile and friends, along with the Crowsman, I think it can pick up this game pretty handily, and I'm going to pick Aster on this one. Austin is going to pick the Melbourne Rotoms, along with Aaron is going to be locking the Melbourne Rotoms in this game. So I could see a Mega Lop and the Rayquaza putting in some work, but I feel like Mega Mawile puts in too much pressure this game. Our second to last matchup this week is the Victorian Shadows versus the San Jose Sharpedos, which is Necrostevo versus Tom Z 1272. Now Stevo, Lander Therian is going to feel like he's back on the OU ladder with how much work he's about to put in, and then gets shut down by two Pokemon on Tom's side. I'd say Xerneas is dope in this matchup, but Gliscor and Mega Lucario just kind of say hello and shut it down. Like, Megazord X could be cool until you realize Scarflotti comes in and revenges. This is a very tough matchup for you, Stevo. Let's see what you can pull out of your bag of tricks. Now, Tom. Solid game last week. All the analysts called it, and now continue this week. Mega Lucario does some nasty things that should only be shown on 18+ websites to the Necros team. Like, it's disgusting. Scarflotti is awesome, as well as something like Expert Belt Weavile, which is the best item, by the way. It would be perfect to keep that Lando in check, and it pressures his team a bunch, but that Lando does pressure you a bunch. You need to keep Lando in check, but if you do, I think you can easily win this game with like a Mega Lucario and like Tapu Koko doing some work as well. Be wary of Mienshao though, it could do some work against you. I think Tom takes this, as everyone is picking Tom this week, and Garchomp is locking the San Jose Sharpedos. Now, our last matchup of the week is the Pittsburgh Pichus versus the Los Angeles Nidokings, which is Numb Nexus versus TTM Crobat for the win. Now, Nexus, you know, not a lot of things switch into Palkia's dual stab. One of the few is Mega Venusaur, and you happen to have it on your team. Good for you. Deal with that knowledge as you will. Primarina can switch in, but it has no reliable recovery, so it gets chipped down very, very easily. Now that you know Primarina, Uxie, and Mega Venusaur can come, you kind of have to be wary. Wait, don't I just lose to Bulu Lucha? Which, Danza, you need to pounce on that. If there's ever a time for you to go make waffles during a game, it might be this one, honestly. Like, you simply go into Palkia, double into Lucha when the grassy terrain's up, click Swords Dance, and win. Say GG, and enjoy your waffles with syrup. I wish I was kidding at how much work Bulu Lucha plus Palkia goes in. Gengar in the back is also really nice because it can help check the mons like Uxie and Mega Venusaur and Mimikyu and will them down for Palkia and Lucha to just absolutely wreck. Now, this is my personal lock of the week because of how much work these mons put in, and I am taking Danza. However, Shiny Sableye Ben does think the Pittsburgh Pichus can win this game. So, that is going to be it for the Pickems. I know this is kind of a shorter video for the week, guys. I'm sorry. I want to have Austin back for next week. Hopefully our schedule is aligned, but be sure to leave your picks down in the comment section below. And if you guys do want to pick along with the fan Discord and let your voice be heard, be sure to join the fan Discord. Links will be in the description and links will be on screen here. Guys, just join that. Request your favorite role for your favorite team, and also ask for the GBA type people role, so you guys get known when any GBA video related on the GBA channel goes up, because sub boxes really don't work that well. But I think that is going to be enough for me. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys have a fantastic afternoon, and peace out, Scouts.